Good morning, my name is Margaret Paton. Today on the 17th of March, Tuesday, I'm reading from the Sefton North Deanery Lent Reflections. The passages of the three of them, Ezekiel 47, Psalm 46 and John 5. But I'm just concentrating on John 5. Which is Jesus heals the lame man by the pool. Afterwards, Jesus returned to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish holy days. Inside the city near the sheep gate was the pool of Bethesda, with 5 covered porches. Crowds of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, all lay on the porches. One of the men lying there had been sick for 38 years. When Jesus saw him and knew he had been ill for such a long time, he asked him, "Would you like to get well?" "I can't, sir," the man said, "for I have no one to put me into the pool when the water bubbles up. Someone else always gets there ahead of me." Jesus told him, "Stand up, pick up your mat, and walk." Instantly the man was healed. He rolled up his sleeping mat and began walking. But this miracle happened on the Sabbath. So the Jewish leaders objected. They said to the man who was cured, "You can't work on the Sabbath. The law doesn't allow you to carry that sleeping mat." But he replied, "The man who healed me told me to pick up the mat and walk." "Who said such a thing as that?" they demanded. The man didn't know, for Jesus had disappeared into the crowd. But afterwards Jesus found him in the temple and told him, "Now you are well, stop sinning, or something even worse might happen to you." Then the man went and told the Jewish leaders that it was Jesus who had healed him. So the Jewish leaders began harassing Jesus for breaking the Sabbath rules. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. There are 3 festivals or holy days that require all Jewish men to come to Jerusalem. There's the festival of the Passover, festival of Pentecost, and the festival of shelters. For after 38 years, this man's problem had become a way of life. No one had ever helped him to go to the pool. Because of this, he had no hope of ever being healed. This situation was hopeless, but no matter how trapped you feel health-wise, God will and can minister to your deepest needs. Don't let the problems or hardship cause you to lose hope. God may have special work for you to do, in spite of your condition or even because of it. The Pharisees felt carrying a mat on the Sabbath was work and unlawful. The man who had been healed after 38 years was an example. But they were more concerned that because it was a Sunday, it was unlawful. If God stopped every kind of work on the Sabbath, nature would fall into chaos and sin would overrun the world. In Genesis 2, verse 2, it says, "God rested on the 7th day." But this can't mean that he stopped doing good. Jesus taught that when the opportunity to do good arose, it should not be ignored, even on the Sabbath. Amen. Now, according to the Sefton North Deanery booklet, today we are talking about St. Patrick, as it's St. Patrick's Day, and the reading has been done by the Reverend Ted Woods retired assistant priest at St. Peter's, Formby. Shamrock and snakes, green beer and green hair, banquets and ballony are all part of the modern celebrations of St. Patrick's Day, which rely more on fiction than on facts. Most historians say Patrick hailed from the northwest of England, so he's one of our own. His father was a deacon and his grandfather was a priest, though in his early years, Patrick was not especially religious. A prototype, maybe, for many teenagers in clerical families. At the age of 16, he was captured in an Irish pirate raid and sold as a slave to mind sheep on the inhospitable slopes of Mount Slemish in County Antrim. In a hopeless situation, he turned to God. After 6 years, he escaped to Dublin and joined a ship to France, where he was later ordained. In a dream one night, he heard the Irish people appeal to him to come and walk amongst us once again. He was sent to Ireland by the Pope as a missionary bishop. Landing in Strangford Lough in 432 AD, he built his first church in nearby Saul and travelled the length and breadth of the country preaching the gospel. He ordained priests and organising the new church along diocesan lines. He made Armagh his principal base. But it wasn't all plain sailing, as he met opposition from kings, chieftains and druids. But he persevered, ministering in Ireland for 29 years. He died on the 17th of March, 461 AD. 3 characteristics which stand out. 1, he was a person of prayer. Prayer enabled him to persevere. His wonderful prayer, the breastplate, hymn 277 in Hymns Ancient and Modern, is still a prayer for today. He was a person of forgiveness. On receiving the call of the Irish people, he records that he was pierced with great emotion, and in an act of forgiveness for all he suffered in captivity, he returned with the gospel of God's love. 3, he was a person of loving service, caring for all whom he met and seeking them a better life. Amen. Well, I do hope that you all have a good St. Patrick's Day, and I will see you again soon in a few weeks with another reflection. Bye for now.